Hey cruisers, today we have a very special subscriber-inspired episode. Judy Gambino got in touch with us on YouTube and said, "My first cruise is in June of next year. I'm worried about overpacking with packing cubes. How do I pack all of your recommendations for packing cubes, wipes, meds, etc.? Without going overweight for flying?" So today we are going to talk about how not to have overweight luggage. Today's episode is sponsored by cruiseline.com, where you can find reviews, tips, and photos from real everyday cruisers. Well, Judy, you, my friend, are not alone. This is definitely a valid concern for cruisers. And here we are telling you all these crazy things you need to take on a cruise. Well, you don't need to take them all, and we'll talk about how to scale everything back so that you can keep it nice and light and you can be very free as you're flying, traveling, getting to your cruise port. So we're gonna bring you 8 tips. The number 1 tip is pre-planning. You want to start packing early so that you can lay everything out, and later on in the packing process, use a process of elimination to get rid of the stuff that you really don't need. So it starts with packing lists. Start with a nice list of things that you might need and think about the clothing that you're taking. You really want to take clothing that coordinates well. You want to make sure that your shirts match your shorts and your pants and all that good stuff. And we're not doing a whole bunch of different color palettes. So that doesn't mean you have to go with boring, bland colors like black and gray and brown. Just think about laying things out in outfits so that you know what matches and you're not putting things in stacks that don't match one another. So start that packing early, get a good list going, and you will be fine. Number 2, don't forget to start with lightweight luggage. You can get perfectly high quality bags these days that do not weigh a lot. It's okay to go to a discount store and look for high quality brands. They sell Delsey, It Luggage, E-Bags. There's so many different choices for you, so check that out. Now, number 3, you definitely need to invest in a luggage scale before you cruise. So check with your airline to see what their weight requirements are and get a luggage scale. There's plenty of them in our Amazon shop, which we will link to below, that can help you out with this so that you know exactly what you're dealing with. Now, when we're talking about those little things, Judy and everyone else in the cruising community, that can add up, think about scaling them way back and putting them in Ziploc bags or smaller bags. Here's an example. You know those norovirus wipes we talk about all the time that come in a canister this big? We're not gonna take all of those. We're gonna take 20 of those norovirus wipes and we're gonna pop them in a Ziploc bag and scale back so that things are more lightweight. You can do the same thing with toiletries, cotton balls, Q-tips, things like that. Just take a small amount of what you know you're going to need. Now, one of my husband's absolute favorite tips for keeping your bag under the weight limit is to use packing cubes. Contrary to popular belief, packing cubes do not weigh very much, you guys. They are not going to add to your overall luggage weight, but what they will do is allow you to redistribute things from bag to bag. If you get to the airport and you've got one bag that's a little bit overweight, so maybe you've got one that's at 52 pounds, but you have one that came in at 46 pounds, you can take a packing cube out of the overweight bag and put it into another bag. So redistribution is my husband's favorite tip. Number 6, think about what you do not need to pack, but you could buy at your port of embarkation. On our last cruise to the Panama Canal, we went carry-on only, so it wasn't so much a weight restriction, but a size restriction for us. So what we did is we left a bunch of our toiletries at home. We didn't take any sunscreen or anything bulky at all that would not pass through the TSA line. Instead, we waited and went to a supermarket in Florida and bought it all there and took it on the ship in our carry-on bag. No big deal. Number 7, and probably my favorite tip for keeping the weight of your luggage down and keeping the size compact, is to limit the amount of shoes that you take. You hear me talking about shoes all the time. You should only take a few pair and they should be very comfortable and they should be versatile. So you should be able to wear some of the same pairs of shoes to many, many different dinners and things like that. That's really one of my favorite tips. And when you start packing and you look at that luggage, you will see that it's those shoes that really take up a lot of space. Our last tip today is, if possible, plan to do laundry on board if it's not going to ruin your vacation. There are 2 types of people in this world. The type who don't mind doing a little laundry on a cruise, and the type who think we're absolutely insane when we make that suggestion. People are like, "You're on vacation, don't do laundry." I say I don't mind at all doing a load or two here and there in a self-serve laundromat if it means that my baggage can be much less bulky and my packing game is just a little bit more on point. We hope that these tips have been helpful for you, Miss Judy, and for everyone out there who's trying to keep a little bit light and avoid those overweight bag fees. Until next time, cruisers, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye! Hey, click me to subscribe.